This video has found you as you are working on shifting timelines of creating expansion and overflow in your life, especially around your business or your purpose, your work, or growing relationships. And you've done it the old way, which is like the chasing way, the hustling way, the burnout way, the overhealing way. And you're looking to really embody much more ease. So you simply get paid for being who you are. In order to do this, you have to heal your masculine and your feminine wounds. I already did a video on the masculine wounds and I went through the archetypes, the masculine archetypes that you need to transcend. So that's in this video. I'll just put the link here for you. But today I'm going through the feminine wounds and I'm going to be doing another video on sisterhood, which is if you are a woman and you are creating an online community, you will need to do your sisterhood wounding work as well. I'm going to go through 11 different archetypes that we see within feminine energy. I want to move out of these archetypes so that we can easily receive just as we are. The feminine part of us is the being part of us. And it's the part of us that can catch like the intuitive downloads. So we know what step we need to carry. What this did for me was I was in a really good energy and I basically was able to get the intuitive download to do this blog. And that blog made me like 5 figures. I got the intuitive download years ago to do a podcast. And that's what was the first instance of my business, which was that made me multi 6 figures. And now this current iteration of my business, I'm being much more called to do video and come onto YouTube to share this journey with you here. And that's all come from my intuitive voice inside. But in order for the intuitive voice to come out, it has to feel safe. So that's why we need that masculine energy so that we're doing in a way that makes our feminine feel safe. So go check out that other video. But today I wanted to go through the 11 different archetypes and just what you want to be doing instead. So people pleasing, which is like I must shrink, I must be whoever somebody else wants me to be in order for them to choose me, in order for me to be safe. We want to get rid of that and actually you want to become a truth speaker. What this means is that you are going to have much more authentic relationships and you are going to attract your people. Whereas if you are people pleasing or shape shifting, etc., you're not being authentic. You're not being in your authentic frequency. So you're going to attract a lot of relationships that actually are not aligned with you because you're pretending to be somebody that you're not. And if you are growing a business or growing a message, you are likely to be attracting almost like trauma bonds to your business rather than your authentic relationships that are going to celebrate you. They're going to have great transformations because they're actually really aligned with you. So it doesn't actually help being a people pleaser. It feels safer, yeah. And it's like a behavior that you would have seen in your families. Actually, that attracts conditional love, that attracts chasing, and that is not easeful. Whereas when you authentically express yourself, it doesn't take that kind of energy. It feels so much better in the body and it's actually so much more magnetic. Like this week, just this week gone, I sent a message where I spoke my truth. And within 10 minutes, I made a sale through my YouTube funnel just from speaking truth. So that's why it's so essential. The next is the martyr. So this is feminine energy of I do all this stuff. I take care of everyone. I self-sacrifice. I abandon. Like I'm so wonderful because I do all of this stuff. No, you are sabotaging and betraying yourself. So really see where you are in martyrdom in terms of in your internal world, but also in how you relate to others. And you want to move from martyrdom to actually being a nourished person. So to stop the self-abandonment and self-betrayal for others, to really notice, are you being a martyr with the way that you work, in your relationships, with the way that you're mothering, and actually creating routines and boundaries where you are not self-sacrificing in order to prove your worth, because actually the person that pays that price is you, because you are constantly borrowing off a future version of you, whether it's your money or your energy, and you're not actually getting the results that you want, and it keeps you in that kind of victim energy. So you want to kind of tidy that one up. Competitive is number 3. So we see this a lot. Women, we've been made to feel that there's not enough for us, there's not enough success, only a certain number of women can be successful. So therefore, we can feel that scarcity with each other, which is like, I'm not enough, or that I need to compete. I need to like work harder, be more beautiful, get more attention. And it's really that scarcity and that chasing kind of feeling rather than going, you know what, I'm whole and complete on my own and I don't need that external validation. And that when you are in that seat of like, feeling empowered and not that you're less than other people or that you have to prove yourself, that actually naturally the energy shifts and you attract the people that you want towards you, like clients, money, relationships, love, all that kind of stuff. But when you're in that competitive nature, it's like really I'm not enough and I need to prove myself. I always find that when I'm feeling that jealousy feeling, it's like it's just showing me that somebody has something that I want. But that doesn't mean that they're bad or you have to compete with these people. It just means that becoming aware of a desire. And actually, if it is something that they're doing, why am I not doing that? So that's like that internal check of like, why am I competitive about that thing? And how can I create it for myself? So that's the antidote to this is rather than being competitive, it's actually going, okay, I'm actually going to build what I want and actually build a community or a sisterhood that I get to do the work that I want, or I'm going to build a career that. So the antidote to competition is actually to build and create the life that you do want. So you don't feel like other people have it and that you don't. That's one thing. And second of all, is really working on yourself so that you don't feel like you need validation from other people, from the outside world, so that you are feeling worthy, because that way you are feeling whole and complete, and you will naturally attract the people that are aligned with you. There are souls out there that are just meant for you. And you don't have to chase them or be anything else but truly you. But when you're being in that competitive nature or you're going into like chasing and things like that, you're not actually being in your authentic frequency. You're actually being in a trauma response. So it's something that needs to be tied out. But jealousy is not a bad thing. It's a natural human emotion. It just shows us a life that's not yet lived. Then we have that seductress. So it's a bit more like shape shifting and being whoever so that somebody else chooses us. I really feel like this is massive in marketing. I got this massive report the other day for my YouTube channel, and it really triggered me because he was like, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And some of it just didn't feel right to me because it's like, you need to perform in this way to get people to choose you. And I know that there's a real balance. Obviously, there's like a SEO and there's like a way these platforms work, but it's like getting that information and still creating a system that supports you without like betraying yourself or without and still being in integrity. And it's like that kind of balance. So when you're being the seductress, which is like a form of manipulation, and that can be like marketing and things like that, you're not really being authentically yourself. So it's about finding a system where you are following in your work or whatever, but it's through magnetism, it's not through chasing or being someone other than yourself. And again, with each of these archetypes, you want to look at what's the inward expression and what's the outward expression. So the inward expression might be, okay, I need to be somebody else. And the outward expression might be, I'm not speaking really my truth, or I'm not doing things I want to do. I'm just doing it because I feel like I have to be doing them. And then that shifts up your frequency. So it's really tidying those things up. Another big one is hyper independence. I can't do everything. I need to do everything on my own. This is a wound of not having people to rely on, in all honesty, and not having safe relationships and not having the healthiest sisterhood to have been supported from, or not having the healthiest masculine men around you. So that's why you're hyper independent. And you definitely want to check out the masculine video that I just did and hit the bell and subscribe so you can get my sisterhood video that's coming up next. And the antidote here is actually really thinking about, what do I want in relationships? What would make me feel supported? And you don't know that when you're in hyper independence. It's when you connect to what your needs are that you start to think about what kind of relationships would be supportive, and then you intentionally go and create them. So, for example, you may have, the wound before is that you may have gravitated towards mentors or online spaces, where there was this competitive nature, or where the mentor wasn't massively supported, or you didn't feel valued and seen. And actually what you were doing there was you were mirroring a past version of you. So you've gone into an environment which actually is just the same as the past. So you end up being hyper independent. But what you want to be doing is like, what relationships really support me, and then consciously go to create them. So, for example, I feel very at home with people that are extremely trauma informed, as I've come from a big trauma background. So when I'm investing in a space, I'm like, have they got that experience of creating success and expansion with the level of complex trauma that I have? So that really helps me to feel seen. I've been on spaces where the mentor has not had that, and I have felt a little bit lost. So that's like one example. Or it could be things like really feeling more at home with more soul-led, heart-led women. It could be, people that are much more embodied, like really thinking about what is the kind of spaces I need. And when you have come from hyper independence to kind of being like, knowing that that is your safer go-to, but actually being brave enough to go into these spaces and allow yourself to be seen and allow yourself to be heard, so that you can go, I kind of need support with this, or this is what's going on for me in the world. Sharing your truth, expressing your vulnerabilities, that kind of thing. But you really want to make sure that you are consciously picking these environments. This is why I've created a couple of different community experiences. I have my membership, which you can get details of, comment membership, and I'll send you the details. I have a membership, and then I have a year program where we really focus on going deeper for the higher timeline, called Overflow, because I really wanted to create these safe, trauma-informed environments where we're all working on changing. And that's the other thing. We can become really hyper independent because nobody else in our world, our families, our friendships, not doing this deeper work. So you can feel really by yourself. But when you get into the right place, it's completely different. So I've created these things for you guys. And for the first week of June in 2026, I'm opening up an experience called the Expansion Code, which is a week's community experience where you get a call every single day. If you're watching this video after that, you can buy it. It's just that it would have just happened. So you can buy that. And the reason why I want you to come together is because women's nervous systems, when we're together, we can heal more deeper, and we can go deeper into shadow clearing, which is the only thing that's holding you back from what it is that you desire. What you desire for your future is right here, like the £1 million idea, soulmate, they're all here, but you're just not a frequency match. So your nervous system is filtering it out. But as we clear out the crap, as I call it, or the dark shit, as my clients know I call it, as we clear this out, and you have a safe space and a safe environment, you start to be able to see the things that were always there, which are your next steps. So come and join us. If you comment Expansion Code, you can come and join that experience for a week, and just like notice how it feels to be in a community that's safe, that takes care of your needs at that deeper level. Then got the good girl. I think loads of us women have that. So, really feeling like I have to be good. I have to follow all the rules. I can't upset people. If I do that, then I will get love. And moving from that to the truth speaker. I should have said this for people pleasing as well. Both the good girl and the people pleasing, it is actually getting so much clearer about what your standards are. So it's not just speaking your truth, but actually going, what is my bare minimum in relationships? A real feminine wound is really accepting way too little in relationships with others and with ourselves, because the bar has been so low because of patriarchy. So you really want to be looking at like every single relationship in your life and reevaluating the terms. So not being the people pleaser or the good girl, because that's like, who do I need to be for somebody else to choose me? And actually going, what is it that I want? What is it that I want to create? And then, making sure the internal and the external expression of you is aligned with that. So that's very different to being performative for a sale or for marketing or building a business. That's coming so much from a deeper, more authentic place. And that again means that resonance can happen, and that those clients will come to you so easily. I've noticed with this, when I'm really being this person and really, because of course we can all fall back into the other expression, into our shadow side. But I will just go on to an Instagram story. I've not been on there for ages, and somebody will buy something off me. Or I'll be just sitting at home and I will make a sale. It will come so effortlessly because it's from that resonant frequency and it's not from the performative, trauma-based actions. So everything I'm going through is like, you're embodying this right now. You need to embody this instead. And this is why my programs are like people come for a really long time because these things have been just your personality for a really long time. And now we're going to unravel them and clear them away. And that means that you create space for the truth teller in you, the authentic person in you, the magnetic version of you, the creative you as that feminine energy. So as I said before, the feminine is all about the being. So when you tidy these things up, your being is in line with your soul and not in line with your ego and your trauma behaviors. We also have the chaos addicted archetype, which is when you've grown up in a childhood where there has been danger and chaos, we can recreate that in our world for how we're running our businesses, what we're spending our money on, the relationships that we're in. And that's because that makes us feel alive because it reminds us of the past. So the antidote to this is to create a peaceful environment. And it means saying, okay, I want to notice throughout my day what takes me out of peace. And you start to notice what creates the chaos within. So, for example, oh, when I stay in my bed for an extra hour, it follows up with all this chaos. Oh, I think that's the way my nervous system is holding on to the past. I'm going to make sure I get up at this time. It will be little things. It's very different for different people. I was like very aware that I was incredibly addicted to chaos because that was just familiar to me. And actually moving into peace and rest and slowness and predictability and creating systems, financial systems that could support me. That felt really weird. I didn't enjoy it. And almost like I was hanging on to inconsistent income or like these kind of things to hold on to the past. So it's really consciously going, am I doing that again? Am I trying to find a way to create chaos and put pressure on myself so that this feels like the normal chaotic past? This one is sneaky, and if you have got that disorganized attachment complex trauma, it will come and you will be doing things unconsciously all of the time that are recreating the chaos. So keep an eye out for that. The mother wound carrier is like enmeshment with the mom, the unlived life of the mother, her martyrdom, her self-betrayal. And often what I see with women is that they're living it life as if it's their own. Like, for example, my mum and my grandma had very abusive marriages. So therefore, I was carrying that wound by going, I'm not going to be trapped in a relationship. So it's that wound was running my life and meaning that I wasn't falling in love and I wasn't going forward to being a mother myself. I've gone on a journey of working to become a mother on my own fertility journey. That has been a huge block for me because I saw them not have any form of life and be really taken advantage of. So that was the mother wounds that I was carrying from my mom, from her mom, from my other grandma. So this is really about the integrated feminine and really looking at the different shadows that we carry in a much deeper way and how that and observing that in daily life. I go much, much deeper into that into my overflow program where we really dissolve these old identities and we process what we've been holding from our families. Like I said, you can experience that for a week in June or catch the replay in expansion code, just comment expansion code. The next one we have is the Maiden Fantasy version. I don't know about you guys, but when I was little or when I was a teenager and I was living in an unsafe environment, I used to look outside of my window and be like, one day some man is going to come and rescue me. You know, all that Cinderella and all those Disney films, they had really brainwashed me to thinking that I was powerless. So there was a lot of like fantasy of having a better life. And over the years, I've worked with different women. They have a really strong desire have a different life. So they have that fantasy, but it is a fantasy because they're actually avoiding taking responsibility And they are also not really taking any action other than waiting for the universe to serve them up their life. You have to be a creator in the process. It is a partnership between you and the universe. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What is your actions? What is your embodiment? That is something that you have power over today. So even implementing some of the things that we're talking about, that's you deciding, I'm actually going to be the creator of my reality rather than the victim of my reality. And so the antidote to the fantasist, if you like, that maiden, that more teenage version of you, and growing her up is becoming the creator, but also becoming very aware when that young version of you is trying to come in and she's trying to keep you out of your power, really. Because it's not the teenage version of you that's the most powerful version of you. It's the mature woman, it's the integrated feminine, it's the one that's done all her work. So really noticing how she comes up. Like mine's like, I want to have fun and I don't want to work and I don't want to have responsibility. I don't want to really boring things that you're doing to create a life that consistently can give you your income and your relationships, and it's to do with your own embodiment. And she doesn't love that. She wants a quick result. So it's like working with that energy and doing a lot of inner teen work and working with that version of you and growing her up. I even did an exercise where I wrote a goodbye letter to her because she was holding me up on my pathway to leadership and motherhood and things like that. We have the controller, which is like, I must be really hypervigilant and control everything in my environment. A lot of anxiety. You feel like you have to do all of that to keep everything safe and okay. And that doesn't always work because life happens. The controller is like high anxiety, high hypervigilance. So it's really what the antidote to that is really working with your nervous system to let down the control so you can feel safer in the present moment. And then you're going into creation as well. So rather than I must control everything in my environment, what is it that I actually want to create? And then working with your nervous system to be able to feel like, say, peace in the present. Like you can't control your environment to feel peace. You feel it in your body, and then you can create a life that feels peaceful. So it's coming from the inside out with the archetype, with all of them, really. The last one is we have the collapsed feminine. So this is more like I'm the victim to my circumstances. And this could be because you've had abuse or you've come from trauma and things like that, and you don't feel like you have power, that I can't have the life that I want. It's not possible for me. But that's like an embodiment of victim consciousness energy, and it's choosing to become someone that is the creator. So the creator is, what are the thoughts and the feelings and the actions I'm taking today to give myself a different life, and also not ignoring that you have this victim inside of you that needs love and care, and she needs to be shown that the present isn't something to be afraid of anymore, and the life that she's creating. So many of us, when we've had abuse and trauma, are in the past, and we just literally have to show the nervous system that we are safe in the present somatically. It's not just telling ourselves, it's showing our seven senses that we are not in that environment anymore, and on a daily basis showing that and making sure that we have a life that is not recreating the past. So reevaluating our relationships in our life, the environments that we're in, the home that we live in, the way that we take care of ourselves, because there could be ways where you're like, okay, everything is safe, but actually your body and your past self doesn't feel safe because there's stuff going on that's still familiar that reminds you of the past. The really cool thing about doing it this way is that you will start to feel more safe, and then you end up not doing some of those habits very naturally. I really love doing this, healing the feminine and healing the masculine. You're clearing, as I said earlier, like some of that dark shit, and then you're able to see and observe much more clearly what your next steps are. So the being is, we're tidying up all these frequencies, and we're also tidying up the masculine frequencies so that we are more of a clear channel. And then the other way that I do this as well is working with each of the chakras, which we will be doing during expansion code. So just comment expansion code. I'll see you guys there next week. We're just changing the price shortly. So if you watch this video today, you'll get like a massive discount on it. But if you watch it after that, the price will be going up. I will see you in the next video, which will be about sisterhood. So make sure you like and subscribe.